Welcome to BWTMONLINE, and this edition of Inside Story. We ask the questions you want the answers to. And now our host, Ingram Jones.
Hi and welcome to Baylor TV. I'm your host Ingram Jones, and on tonight's show, Daley Ojuederie, a fighter from the UK, middleweight, who has a story with some heavyweight lines. I did this interview because it's very different to a lot of the other boxing interviews I've done before. We hear a lot about the fighters that are who are getting the limelight, fighters that have had successful careers. This one is an up and comer, and as you'll hear from the interview, he hasn't had it easy. So let's listen to the man known as Star. First of all, please let the fans know a little bit more about you in terms of your full name and how many fights you've had so far.
Daley Ojuederie, 4-0, and ready to do some artistic damage in this world.
Okay, and what's your nickname?
Star.
The Star. All right,
Yeah,
excellent.
Star, just like the newspaper.
All right, so Star, we're going to chat. So tell me about you. Tell me about you as a boxer. Tell me about your. I mean, you'll have to talk about your amateur career because you've got a few professional fights. So let me know a bit more about you as an amateur.
Amateur is get more into about my background as we get into the interview. But I started boxing through because of my background, and it was a way to channel my anger and frustration into a positive thing, put it into a positive environment, and boxing was the one what done that. So I decided to turn amateur when I was about 14 years of age, and I didn't have many amateur fights actually. Probably only about 19. Only lost a couple, but in that time won national championship. I won 2 London championships. I won the silver medal. I done a lot in a short space of time. There was even a guy in the amateurs, I'll never forget it. It was a semi-final of the national championships. Everyone was writing me off. It was only my 9th amateur fight, and I was coming up against a bronze junior Olympic medalist. He had 74 fights, only lost 4. Everyone was writing me up saying, I've done good to get this far, but you've reached the end of the line. I went in there and I dropped him twice, and I won and went to the final, and the rest is history. Then amateur career didn't last that long because I think I've got a professional style. So I was eager to train alongside professionals and get into the professional game.
Wow, you talk about your background. So at 14, you decided to get into boxing.
Yeah.
What was going on when you were a youngster?
Well, I got put in foster care when I was 2 years old, a baby, and my brother was 1 year old.
Wow.
I don't know the real reasons why. Still don't know until this day. Hopefully I'll find out one day. But basically, it was just hard times, man. I mean, we stayed in a lot of foster homes, probably over about 20 different foster homes and children's homes, staying with this family and that family. Some of them were good. Some of them give us like a good life, give us a nice home. But some of them were bad, like would beat us, would abuse us. Without getting graphic, you can understand about what kind of abuse. And it just went from there, really. And growing up, really, it's just been me and my brother. And one thing what boxing has done, boxing is a one-man sport. And just like growing up, I've had to look after myself, live by myself from a very young age. And boxing has some of it has certain similarities to the way my life has been. You know, in that ring, you can only help yourself. Your trainer can only do so much. But once that bell rings, I'm on my own, and that's sort of how my life has been, really. So I go into battle, and I do. I'm a one-man soldier, man, and come out and with my hands up at the other side.
So those experiences. At 14 years old, can you remember what drew you to the sport of boxing?
Well, growing up, I've always wanted to know my real family, and I did come in contact with my family around the age of 14, and one of them was a professional boxer, the other one was an amateur boxer, almost turning professional. And even though I didn't know them, me being a young boy, I was like, oh yeah, I want to be a boxer. My brother's a boxer. So that's how it kind of really started. And it helped me with my anger and frustration as well. So I started to do it. I was a really good footballer. I thought I would go all the way in football, to tell you the truth, but boxing started to take over. I started to get good at it, and the rest is history.
So, being from foster home to foster home, as you put it, what is that? What is that feeling like of not knowing your family, but having to live in different environments of people who you know are not your family, but yet are bringing you up and telling you what to do?
You know what? I try to ask myself the same question all the time. Sometimes I think that even people think I'm 27 years of age. People think, you know, let the past be the past. But it's hard when you've grown up and you haven't had the answers to questions that you want to know. And that question you just told me, I ask myself that all the time. How did I feel? How did I feel? But to tell the truth, I don't really know. It's all like a blur to me. There's a lot of pain involved, even to this day. I mean, the way I can explain it is I've got a baby picture at home, and I got given it from social services. And on the photo, it says Daley Ojuederie in foster placement, 1980 something. I forgot what exact date. But there's a picture of me and some man leaning over the top of me while I'm playing with some toys with a little dog. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't even know this guy. I can't remember this guy looking after me. So it's just all a blur, man. I mean, when I started growing up and getting to my teenage years, obviously I started to understand more things and understand certain situations I'm going through. But before that, everything's just a blur. So I don't know. I ask myself that question all the time.
But going through the hard lifestyle you've obviously gone through, doesn't that make you tougher inside more than most?
Well, exactly, and that's the reason why I could have easily gone down that dark road, use it as an excuse, be a drug addict, or go and sell drugs, or go and be a criminal, be locked up in prison. But I chose to use it as a positive. As much as I'm still in pain to this day, I try and use that pain and anger and use it into a positive. I want to be successful in life, and I want to turn around and be a role model to the young people what have been in the same situation I've been in, and be like, hey, listen, even though you've been through this and you've been through that, and you've had no parents, you know, just use it to your advantage to make you drive forward in life and succeed. So maybe one day you can turn around and tell your real parents, if you know them again, you know, you might not have been there, but look where I am today. I'm still on my own 2 feet, and that's where I am today. I mean, I'm still striving to be successful in life. So,
but Daley, to be fair and to be honest, why? Why do that? Why? It sounds great, and you know BWTMONLINE TV will ask the questions that the fans want the answers to. Why do it?
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds great, and if you were talking to any other media outlet, they'd say, that's great. That's really honourable of you, Daley. But to the man on the street that listens to that thinks, that. You know, why would you want to go down the good route and be the good boy? Why didn't you be the bad boy and let all that anger out and take it out on somebody? What stopped you?
What stopped me is I'm not saying I was an angel growing up.
No.
You know, I wasn't, you know, and I've done certain things that in my life that I regret, and you know, that I've got away with, and I'm happy to say I've got no criminal record. But what drives why do I do that? It's because...
No, not why you do it. Why then did you make the choice not to go that route? Because it seems that you've made that sort of line. You said, you know what? No matter how much pain I've got, I'm not going to drive myself to the extent where I'm going to get myself locked up for it.
Well, maybe there's a number of people. I mean, the first time I ever experienced coming to London, because I never had lived in London all my life. I was in foster homes outside of London. I first come to London when I was about 13, 14 years of age into this foster home in Willesden.
Okay.
And then at that time I was still playing football, and then I met a guy called Frank, a football manager. And he basically he was like a father figure for me. So maybe he got me at the right time, at the right age. I joined his football team, and away from football, he brought me into his house. He let me stay in his house. He cooked for me. He'd buy me clothes. He'd be there for me. My father weren't there for me, so I've got a lot to thank for him. He introduced me to my best friend, who I've been friends with for 15 years now. So maybe, I'm not saying it's 100% that, but maybe he got me at the right time where all my mind was messed up, and that the figure I was looking for, he was it.
So
and he put me straight and
narrow. All right, so I'm trying to get, for me, I want to know more about the mindset, the sort of mindset you had then. Because I'm going to try and bring that mindset for what you had then, because a lot of young people, young listeners listen to the show, and of course they will probably hear your story, and some of them may have similar backgrounds to yourself. So if I can dig a little further into your mindset, what goes through a young person's mind when they feel that lost, or the destructive feeling? What goes on inside?
See, to me, with the experiences I've been through, like, for example, my brother was in the same position as me growing up. But he's totally on the other side. He's totally different from me. He grew up showing more anger, like physically, like let it out, and he'd go out on the streets and he'd be with all the wrong people, getting a whole lot of trouble. Me, I was more someone what I felt it inside, so I kept all my feelings all inside, and that's a pretty bad thing to do as well, because when you keep everything boiled up inside, one day you're just going to flip. But that's how I was. I used to keep everything inside. I never used to talk to anyone. If people ask me questions, I don't really say anything to them. I'm still like that until this day. People ask me certain things, and I keep it to myself. That's how I am. So I can't really, answer that question 100%. I can only just tell you the way my brother was. He went totally a different way. Was an angry little nutter running around town, getting up to no good. And me, I was still crazy, but I kept it more inside. I'm more emotional. My brother more angry. Me, I showed more the emotional side of things.
Wow. So when you look at young people today, and a lot of the older generation will say they're a lost generation, they're a waste of time, don't bother with them, what do you think?
It depends on their situation and what they're going through, because you can have someone who's got a perfectly good family. The family's trying to do everything they can to raise them properly, but their son or daughter are in with the wrong crowd, and they just want to follow the crowd, maybe be lazy, smoke drugs, hang on the streets, not want to do anything with their life. But then you've got the other people who are actually going through things, depression, no parents, maybe abuse, anything it may be. And I don't really know. The advice, are you asking me for advice to give
Absolutely,
them?
Absolutely.
So the advice I would give, if you're someone was just doing it because you're following the crowd, basically grow up and, and try to, find out what you really want to do in life, and ask yourself a question: is this what you want to do? Do you want to hang around on the streets and get up to no good and just follow a crowd, or do you want to be your own person and be who you want to be in your life? and advice I give to someone what's been in my position. I can't answer on everyone's situations, but certain things in my certain people what have been in my position, I would say there's help out there. Don't be afraid to get help, because there is help. That's something I never done, which I should have done. As I said, I kept everything inside. I would say go and get the help, and try and get people around you that love you, and what's going to constantly remind you that, you know, they're there to help you and guide you, and just have that support, because that's something I never had. And there's a lot of things I've wanted to do in my life. I've never had that emotional support. I've had to do everything by myself, and that's a very big part especially for a young person. And I would say just stick to your schooling. That's one thing I never done as well. I never went to school. I was up and down, in and out of school, going into like temporary schools. So schooling is very important. Sometimes I wish I could start all my life again and you know, and do the things that young kids should be doing.
It's great to hear you say these things, and I hope that the young people that listen to this really do take it on board. Now, moving on. I mean, have you ever considered doing stuff like youth work and stuff like that? Because you'd make an excellent youth worker.
I have. I actually do want to get into that. Do want to get into that. And I'm hoping that I can make a difference and make a change to certain young people that need help. Because I think I can do that. I mean, I got an award a few years back for being a good role model with people that have grown up in the same position as me, and I give a talk to about 500 children and mums and dads. That went really well, and I felt good doing that, telling them my life experiences and things. So yeah, that is something I would like to do.
You know, in some ways you've got a lot to talk about as a fighter, because you've not just got gloves and can punch and knock people over, but you've got a really knockout story outside the ring.
Yeah, exactly. And as I said on one of my blogs on my website, it's strange. It's strange. Boxing, I know this might sound weird to you. I don't know if it will, but a lot of people...
Probably not.
When people ask me, so do you love boxing? I say no. I'm not in love with boxing. I'm good at it. I'm good at what I do. I'm good at it. I'm not in love with the sport. And it's weird to say something like that, because if you probably come across most boxers, most of them say, "Oh yeah, boxing's in my blood. I wanna be world champion, this and that." Don't get me wrong. I want to be world champion. I don't want to be, you know, a journeyman. I'm not someone what likes to lose. I hate to lose. I'm someone that if I lose my next fight, I think I'm no good enough. I'm not good enough to go any further. Yeah, I think what's the point? Because I want to be the best. And even though I'm not in love with it, you know, I'm good at what I do. And if I'm good at what I do, why not be the best at what I'm doing?
I understand what you're saying there. Who loves taking blows to the head? Who loves taking blows to the head? And boxing's in your blood? I love boxing. But there's a difference between I love boxing, being the other side of the ropes, interviewing fighters, watching people taking blows. That's different. I love that. But to actually say that I loved it when I had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go running, go for long runs, or not eating the food you want to eat when everyone else is eating, or feeling the pain in your stomach or your arms, your muscles hurting you, all that sort of stuff. All the anxieties before an amateur bout. Who are you going to fight? Are you going to win? Your mates attempt to fight. Suppose you got knocked out and your mates were watching. All that sort of stuff is going through your head. Do I miss all that stuff? Hell no, I don't miss it. Hell no, I don't miss it. So am I in love with boxing? Yes. But if you're asking me about the physical pain I had to go through for that, no way. Don't get me wrong. Again, the abs and the muscles and the women look at you and you're going to a bar and you're looking sweet. Yeah, that stuff, of course, wicked. I love that stuff. But that's all poser stuff. But when you talk about the real hard grafting. I loved it because I respected
Yeah,
that side of it.
exactly. People don't really understand what a hard sport boxing actually is. It's not for everyone. You can't just go, I want to be a boxer. I want to be a boxer. I remember one time I was in a gym and some guy come in and he was like, I want to be a boxer. I want to be a boxer. He done one session. I never ever saw him again in my life. You know what I mean?
There's always somebody every weekday you go in the gym and you have a sparring session. There's always one day during the week where something's not going right. Your timing might be off, and that guy that you normally sparring with, he's getting the better of you. He's landing a better, cleaner body shot. You know, the guy normally that you're dusting off with a jab, he's getting inside your jab and landing punch on you. You're not feeling it, and you get whacked your body. And this could be happening preparing for a fight.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys that have never boxed before think it's just about, a guy gets in the gym, does a bit of training, gets himself into shape. He doesn't have days where he feels awful. There are days, weeks, sometimes you feel awful. You want to.
Yeah. It's a lot of it in boxing is a mental thing. It's a mental thing. Like some if. One day it's only you in that ring. So if things don't go right, I can be my worst critic. I can.
Yeah, that sometimes being a critic isn't a bad thing because it makes you always rise to the next level. Makes you want to work harder.
Yeah, I mean, is it in boxing terms as well? I'm someone who always like to learn as well because I like my style is American style. I love American boxing. Over here, no disrespect to English boxing, it's just, I don't like certain ways of English boxers fight.
Let me give you something. Left jab, right hand, double jab, left jab, right hand, throw the left hook in.
Listen, if I would just get a girlfriend to tell me to hold the pads. If I wanted left, right, jab, left, right, I'd just get my girlfriend to tell me to hold my pads.
Just put the right hand, throw the left, flip the left, get the left hook in afterwards, right? Double the jab up and get that right hand in. That's it.
You know what I mean? Hand and as well, because I've got American style, I hate all that hands up every single time. Yeah. It's about protecting yourself.
Yeah.
But there's different style of fighting. My style is not come straight forward, hands up, protecting yourself. Going out all guns blazing.
Stand in the pocket and get caught with about 100 punches.
And get caught with about 100, 100 punches. And that's not my style. My style, I'm very fast, I'm very slick, and I'm a counter puncher. So I like to miss. I like to make you miss, and I like to punish you if you make a mistake. That's how I see boxing as an art, as outthink
and not get hit.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to retire and then I'm going home to my girlfriend and she can't understand what I'm saying.
So you don't believe in fighting with your face for the fans then?
No. Why should? If they don't like the way I fight, then pick another fighter to watch. But a true fan that knows boxing will appreciate, different styles of boxing, not just one style of fighting where they just want to turn up and they've had a couple of beers, come on, head toe to toe, let's have it kind of action. You know what I mean? And that's why my idols are Roy Jones, Floyd Mayweather, Sugar Shane Mosley.
Talking fighters, boy, you're talking fighters. Sugar Ray Robinson?
Sugar Ray Robinson, Muhammad Ali, of course. All them fighters there. That's who most of my boxing I've learned. Is from watching DVDs.
Yeah.
I really haven't growing up had a trainer was actually took me and just taught me everything I need to know.
See, the thing is, when you talk about that, the one thing about those styles that are brilliant, we talk about the guys that are speed fighters. I had this conversation early on with a guy, and we were talking about Roy Jones. Roy Jones was great because he had speed and power.
Yeah.
Roy Jones technically wasn't a great fighter. His speed, he was unbelievably fast and had great power.
Yeah.
Now Roy's his speed is gone.
Yeah. I've seen him in fights. He just stands on the ropes now most of the time.
That's what I'm saying. But when he was younger, he could spin off them ropes and rattle you with 15 punch combinations. That's
the reason why I prefer any day of the week Floyd Mayweather over Roy Jones. Because Floyd Mayweather hasn't only got speed, he hasn't got one punch knockout punch, but he will punish you and hurt you, and he's still got that punch where he could knock you out. He hasn't got the same power as Roy Jones used to have, knock out almost everyone, but he'll punish you.
But
Floyd
fundamentally, he's technically better because he can defend himself, and
he can defend. He can go on. He can attack. He can do anything.
So okay, let's go back to the Stars boxing career. So now you're about to turn pro. So you finished amateur. You're about to turn pro. So what were your decisions into? Because there are a lot of guys that probably.
I'll tell you the truth. You want the honest truth?
I want the truth, yeah. Tell me how it really dropped.
The honest truth is it wasn't really about I want to be a professional, I want to be professional. It was really about I live by myself. I've got my flat to pay for, bills to pay for, kids to pay for. Let me turn professional and make some money. But of course, I learned so quick that it's not like that in the beginning of professional boxing. There is a lot of politics involved in boxing, like, ticket sales. If you don't sell your tickets, then you come home with peanuts. So it weren't really, I want to be a professional, I want to be professional, I want to be world champion, if you want the honest truth. And don't misunderstand me from, obviously I'm going in there to win. I'm going in there because I want a belt around my waist. I want to be financially settled in life. But originally, I went in there just I want to earn some money. I want to earn some money, but win doing it. Okay,
so your intention was just to go out there and make dollars, but you still want to make dollars. You still want to make cash.
Yeah, a lot of boxers. The first thing they will say, boxers. Yeah, I want to be world champion. The first thing I will say,
I want to make some money.
I want some money in my bank. I want to look at my bank account. Yeah. And actually, let me put that the right way. I don't want to look at my bank account anymore to see how much balance I've got in there, to check what bills needs to pay and this and that. I want to be comfortable where I know there's money in there. Make enough money out of boxing where maybe I can go into property and do some business stuff. I want to be sensible, Obviously, I'm going in there to win. And when you win, you get money. And if I keep on winning, the money's going to go up. And then eventually that bonus will come. And that bonus is having that world championship belt around my waist. One
of the reasons also I was interested in your story and getting an interview, apart from that, obviously your background and your upbringing, I was really interested in, because obviously you've not got a 35-0 record or 26 knockouts. You're still very young in your career as a pro.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a story unfolding. You understand?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
A very interesting story. So tell me about ticket sales. How does that work? How does that?
Yeah, it's just so stressful, man. I could sit here saying, "Oh yeah, I've got the most fans in the world." I mean, I've got people that support me and stuff that will always come to my fights, but I haven't really got that, back in. It all comes from growing up again. I was a very shy person growing up. Didn't interact with people very well or make too many friends. As I said, I've got one friend. I've been friends with him for 15 years.
Wow.
It's only the last few years since I've started to come out of my shell and be like, right, if I've got to sell tickets, I've got to put myself out there.
Hold on. Let me hold you right there, because that's a key point.
Yeah.
Real key point. You have to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be. So you're not being a diva then and saying, well, you know what? I'm talking to enough pros. I ain't talking to enough fans. I ain't doing no interviews. What?
No, I'm not like that.
But there are fighters like that. I'm trying to make a point here, as I'm sure you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm trying to say here. There are some fighters that won't do it. But they ain't going nowhere. But they talk acting like divas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying now.
You know what I say to people? If you want to come to my fight and you want to support me and follow Daley start on his journey and give me some support, all I can say is go on to DaleyOjuederie.com, and the proof is there. If you want to see someone was flashy, skillful, you know, can punch, got a punch, dangerous with the left hand, quick on his feet, and then the proof is all there on my website.
But Star, they're going to ask one question. You
Yeah.
give it, but can you take it?
Of course I can take it. You know, no, as I said on my quote, it's on my website, my own little quote, my whole life has been a fight, so that square ring will never faze me. Never faze me. When I step in that ring, I look over to the opponent, I look in his eyes. Inside, I'm laughing, I'm smiling, because I know what I've been through in my life. So he can punch me, he can hurt me, he could even knock me down. It doesn't matter to me. I know what I've been through, you know, so nothing that boxing can bring to me has got anything on what I've been through in my personal life.
So what does it take for you now, okay, to increase ticket sales? Now, here's an idea, the whole YouTube thing, doing regular YouTube videos and YouTube blogs. Have you got time to do things like that?
Yeah, I've got time. I'm a little crazy as well. I've got a little YouTube account away from boxing. I'm a little crazy character. So
I like crazy. I like crazy.
I sometimes do random videos on the spot.
Really? You do rapping,
Yeah.
do you? Oh, wow. I know a guy I recently interviewed. His name's Bryant Jennings. Don't you know who Bryant Jennings is?
No.
The American heavyweight. He's one of the best heavyweights in America's got at the moment. And he raps as well. So, yeah. So
I'm not talking just about rapping. I'm talking about, like, I can't explain. What can I say? I'm very spontaneous. I'm talking about video camera on the tripod, hit the record button, whatever comes out, comes out.
Yeah. I like that stuff. Bit like Tyson Fury. He's a bit spontaneous. He's a bit like that.
Exactly. Not rap. I'm not talking about rapping. I'm talking about just acting like a complete crazy weirdo.
Hey, that's good. Hey, that's good, man. I like that.
In a good way, of course.
Yeah, that's it. Let me into the style world then.
Yeah.
Right? Do you have a link, or what's the link for that YouTube channel? Or is that for public viewing?
No. I mean, if you go on my YouTube account through my website,
Yep.
you'll get hold of the account.
Okay, cool. So then I'll definitely get onto that, and I'll be having a look at these videos as well. So okay, so now you've turned pro. You want to make money. When did you realise that it wasn't just about making money? Or maybe rephrase that. When did you realise that the money wasn't going to come as easy as you first thought it was going to come?
That's easy. When I was meant to be getting paid £1,200 for my first fight, stepped out the ring, went to the back of the stage, got my envelope, and then how much did I have? Like, I think £100 it was.
Wait, you're joking.
Yeah, I trained my ass off, 3 months solid, you know, no job, thinking I'm gonna make money, but there you go. That's what it means. That's when I soon found out that I have to sell tickets. I'll tell you how I'm 4-0. First fight, £100. Second fight, £400. Third fight, £500. My last fight just gone, round the same again, £400. So there's been an increase, but not that much. So it is about the fans. And you know what? I know a lot of people. It's not that I don't know a lot of people. I've got a lot of people on my Facebook or on my Twitter. They all say they're gonna come. But you know, when it comes down to okay, yeah, ticket money, please. It's like, oh, I've got things to do. Oh, something's come up. I'll come to your next one.
Well, you know what? I'm in the Caribbean. It's a bit difficult for me to get to your next fight. But what I will do, what we definitely can do in BWTMONLINE TV is to get you, pop you up on Twitter and let the fans see you, man. The fans have got to see you. The fans have got to see you.
Yeah.
Got to do that as well. So talk to me. So, wow, the £400, £500, man.
Exactly. And you know what? I ain't gonna lie. There's times where I've had a long break from boxing because of that. I mean, now's the time. I'm not getting any younger, so now's the time. I've got to be consistent. I've got to have fight after fight, and I wanna fight for my first title as soon as possible. Because I feel that even though I've only had 4, I fight like someone was had at least probably 10 pro fights. 10 pro fights, and that's because I've trained with professionals from a very young age. I've studied DVD after DVD after DVD to perfect my style, and I'm very precise in everything I do when it comes to my training and how I want to fight and things.
So talk to me about your trainer, Don Charles.
Yeah, Don Charles. That's one of the best things what happened to me as in boxing terms, because basically watching the crazy life of Derek Chisora.
Oh, my good friend Derek.
Seeing the fights he had with Tyson Fury, Sam Sexton, Klitschko's,
David Haye.
But I was with Don Charles when David Haye happened. But before that, I was like, oh, I like this trainer, man. If he's done this with Derek Chisora in only this amount of fights, you know, he must be pretty good. And he's in Finchley, and I know Finchley well because I've got some of my brothers live up that way, and I used to live up that way. And I thought to myself, you know what? I've come to a point where I want to step up my game. I'm tired of these little, you know, so-called, you know, left, right, jab kind of trainers. I tell them trainers how to hold the pads or what punches to throw. And I did.
But that can't be going. That can't be going. You've got to...
I didn't want to do that anymore. I thought I need to find someone. Obviously America is the place to be, and their trainers are like off the scale. They're like top notch. Like one trainer I like is what's the Andre Ward trainer, Virgil Hunter.
Okay.
I love him. He's one of my favorite trainers because of what he's done with Andre Ward. But back to Don Charles, I needed to find someone what could take me to that next level, and what is not no normal English type of trainer, what brings something different.
So what does Don Charles bring to the table? Because a lot of people look at the Derek Chisora and say, oh, well, Derek Chisora is, you know, some people suggest that Derek now is a journeyman because he's been beaten the way he's been beaten by David Haye. But David Haye is a proven world champion, you know, so what does Don give you? It's not just, obviously, he's a good pad man. Yes.
That's one thing. One thing I noticed, as soon as I done one session with him, because the way it happened, I just walked in. I thought to myself, you know what? I'm just going to walk into his gym and try my luck and see if he'd be my trainer. I thought it'd be a long shot. And actually, at first, it was a long shot because he goes, you know what? I'm tied up with Derek Chisora. I've got no time to train anyone else. You know, he goes, but bring your gym bag down to the gym, punch the bags, and then maybe, you never know. I went down there for a session. I was on the bags. And then next thing I heard was Daley. And then I go into the ring. He takes me on the pads for only 2 rounds. After 2 rounds, he said, you know what? I've made up my mind. I want to train you. And straight away, I clicked with him from his pad work and everything. His pad work was like second to none. I thought, oh, I've never had pad work like this. And the things he was telling me with footwork, with how to move my head, how to throw punches, how to block punches, things that no trainers never taught me. I've taught myself it, but I need someone to actually put the pieces of the puzzle together. And Don Charles done that. And it's only the beginning. Don Charles, we've still got a long way to go, and I'm going to learn a hell lot of more of him from Don Charles. And away from boxing, I just feel like he's that kind of like father figure.
Yeah.
He's like...
I call him Uncle Don. I call him Uncle Don. He's a bit...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, he's got that way of talking that when you're doing something right in the gym, like the way he talks is he just gets me going. You know,
motivates you, brings something out of you. To go on. Yeah. Well, Don is definitely like that. He's never trained with Don, but I've certainly seen him train Derek, and I've seen him work with Ali Adams, and you know, I've seen enough of him and spent time away from the gym with Don to know that much about him. So he's a honourable man, definitely. The other thing I want to ask about, so now you've had 4 fights. It's gonna be your 5th fight now. What are you gonna do in terms of you moving up the ladder? Are you gonna take a risky fight? I mean, early in your career, you're gonna take a risky fight, or for you to get that opportunity to get a title shot?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm not no like.
I mean, you could fight 20 fights of people nobody knows about for 20 fights.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is going to be my last fight. After this fight, I'm stepping up for sure. I'm stepping up for sure. I get past this guy on March 23rd.
Who are you fighting?
I'm not sure yet. I don't think they've got named opponent yet. Or it might be some guy. He's like Congolese, I think he is.
Okay.
But get past this guy, and then I step it up, because this fight's only a 4 rounds, so I want to step it up to 6 and 8s.
Okay. Chris Keen's a cruiserweight, and he had I think he had 6 to 8 fights. Now he's ranked number 3 in the cruiserweights just by having one fight with a guy that was recognised.
Yeah.
So is there any guy that you have your eyes on for the future that you would fight in super middleweights?
Obviously, there's my weight division is a very hot division.
You've got DeGale, you've got Groves.
DeGale, Groves, you've got
Saunders.
Billy Joe Saunders. You got even Chris Eubank Jr. in the mix. You know what I mean? So obviously they're ahead of me as in experience-wise. But I tell you now, once I've reached to a level, obviously they're always going to be ahead of me on level and experience. I'm someone was had my eyes. That's how I feel. That's how I fight, and that's how I feel. You still there?
I'm still here. I can still hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so 10 and 0. That would be my how I feel as a fighter. That's how I think I fight. I fight like a 10 and 0 fighter, not a 4 and 0 fighter.
So then what happens in terms of your management, your promoter? What happens there?
You know what? I'm going to let the fist do my talking and let the promoters open their eyes and see who I am and say, I need to sign that kid. You know what I mean?
So why do you think it hasn't happened yet?
To tell you the truth, a lot of it's been my fault. If you were to tell the truth, there's been times where, for personal reasons, where I've lost motivation. So I've had breaks, and as I explained, with ticket sales that have, coming home with 200, 400 pounds, I was like, is this really what I want to do? So I questioned myself. But boxing is like a drug. And as I said, I'm not in love with boxing, but I'm good at it. And if I'm good at it, I know I can be the best. I've just got to, knuckle down and go for it, and have a trainer that believes in me as well, because that's very important as well. Having a trainer that believes in me and knows that I can be a world champion.
So what's it going to take for you to get on that stage to fight on a Box Nation bill, or to box on a... I mean, is your next fight going to be televised or not?
Next fight is not televised, but the one after should be, hopefully. I'm with Don Charles.
Yes.
So he's got good connections. And Dean Powell was in my corner this fight. He should be in my corner again this fight. So the connections are there. I just got to show what I can do. And then Don will hopefully help me do the rest by getting me on to people like Steve Goodwin, who's got prime time, or maybe Barry Hearn, Eddie Hearn, sorry, what's on Sky Sports. Any of them. I don't mind. I just want to get some exposure now.
Well, if you get a guy that's got a decent enough record, you knock him over, then that's how it starts, doesn't it?
Yeah, I would love to do that. I would love to get an undefeated guy and, put some artistic damage on him. And make him question whether he should be a boxer or not because he's lost his undefeated record.
Do you think that by being very vocal and by calling people out is the way forward?
Calling people out?
Yeah.
I mean, as boxers, you always call people out. Yeah. And as a boxer, I respect fighters as well. There's going to be a time where I am going to call people out. It's going to happen. But I'm not going to get forced into calling people out right now. I know when the time would be right to call someone out. I mean, I've had a long break as well. So I want to get some momentum going. I want to get some consistency going. After this fight, I want another fight straight away. And then probably fight for a Southern Area title or English title. And then, you know, start calling people out.
Sounds great. I'm looking forward to your next fight. Obviously, find out more about it and being there for it in terms of being right up to the fight and get as much information as I can about it. I'm going to check out your information. Can you give the fans one more time information about your Twitter, your Facebook page?
Yeah, Twitter is I've got two. I've got my boxing one. It's at D-Star Boxer. Mm-hmm. And then I've got my personal one, if you want to follow my personal life. Mm-hmm. And that one is at This Is D-Star.
Excellent. Facebook?
Facebook, you really can't find me on Facebook. That's really a private place. Okay, private
excellent.
Place. Twitter is more open for everyone. For me to catch me, that's the place to catch me. Twitter.
And YouTube.
YouTube is D-Star Daley.
Okay, say that again.
So D-Star, Daley spelled D-E-I-G-H.
Okay.
And that's it. That's where you can get hold of me. A shout out to my sponsors.
Say that again. Sorry, you cut out there. Say that again.
You know about Hench?
Yes, I've heard of Hench.
Yeah. Well, they're my new sponsors now. They sponsor me.
Okay. So, got to give them a big shout out.
Yeah, big shout out to Hench. And I just want everyone to, you know, everyone, you know, it's all about supporting people in this world. And if you're a boxing lover and if you're a boxing fan and you want to follow an exciting up-and-coming fighter, then follow Daily Star Ojuederie.
Daley, thank you so much for the interview. I really appreciate it. And we want to do follow-up interviews and follow you all the way.
Thanks a lot, mate. It's a pleasure.
Hey, I really enjoyed the interview. Talk soon. Well, there you have it. Daley Ojuederie talking about his boxing career and his life. Thank you, Daley, for being so open and so honest in this interview. It was great to find out so much more about the behind the scenes in boxing and having a boxing career. A lot of probably fans may have misconceptions of what professional boxing is all about, and it's great to have insight on the challenges that a boxer has to go through. We wish you all the best here at BWTMONLINE TV, and I hope that the fans that watch BWTMONLINE TV get behind you, follow you on Twitter, go to your website and sign your guest book and kind of be fans. A real story here, no bravado, no media hype job, just the true essence of a fighter. And that's what, for me, it's really all about. You can hype a fighter up all day long, but if you can't fight, then you know, sooner or later they get found out. But Daley's got a good trainer in Don Charles, and he's very dedicated to his sport. I guess he has to be. I was surprised when he started talking about, you know, the money he was making as a fighter, and that really is, without being disrespectful, the low end of boxing. When you look at the guys that turn to be Olympic champions, they get all the sponsorship and stuff like that, you know. But I really hope and wish and pray for Daley that he has a really, really, really successful career, because there's no man in the world that deserves it more than him, and he's determined to put the effort in and put the work rate in. So look forward to your next fight, Daley. This is Bayloric TV. We ask the questions you most want the answers to. I hope you enjoyed the interview, and look forward to bringing another power-packed interview soon. Take care.